Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being Mother, the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. The first time when Holy Father God came to the earth. My love, my beloved children. Today I come to you with great love because I want to tell you today is my love which I can express in part, with the narrow, extremely limited language of this world. Indeed, there is no language, no words that can say it all, fully express my love. My children, Father is love. Love is Father, the Father's love is unfailing, spread throughout the universe in all living beings in every corner of life.
Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father, God the human being. Mother, the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. Father's love is manifested in both favorable and unfavorable circumstances, always flowing in every breath of the universe, in every vibrating cell. In the living soul of the world, it can be said that my love is manifested infinitely, and only those who have realized the truth can realize the presence of my love everywhere and at all times. My children, my love for all of you is infinite. My love can be present in both gentleness and evil, in both the cries and smiles of the world. My love is the law of reincarnation, the law of cause and effect, the law of evolution of all living things, my children.
Because of love, Holy Father God lets his children learn how to evolve. Because of love, he lets his children learn how to make gold and silver, learn how to do a plant, learn how to be an animal, then learn how to be a human following the natural evolutionary cycle. Because of love, he lets his children learn about the world, learn how to be evil, learn how to do evil, following the development of the lower mind according to the development of the ego so that his children will be degraded, then imprisoned in the sea of desire, creating so much karma to pay the price, to stuff karma, to reincarnate, through many ups and downs with low-level lessons, helping his children develop their ego through many changes, throwing sour, spicy, salty, bitter, sweet flavors of the evolutionary cycle of this mortal world, to understand the taste of suffering, to know and feel the illusion of human life, to feel the impermanence of the so-called happiness of the world. At that time, his children will enter a new phase, beginning their journey in search of liberation. Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being. Mother, the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven. The divine teachings of God embark on a journey of liberation. In this journey, you will encounter the conflict between the call of the lower self and the call of the higher self. And thus, you will have the opportunity to learn lessons of will, determination, courage, patience, love, and wisdom. In short, learn the 3 words compassion, wisdom, and courage. That means you will learn compassion, which means learning to love, learn wisdom, which means learning to cultivate insight, learn to distinguish between good and evil, and learn courage, which means training the will. If you want to be liberated, you must absorb and learn by heart the 3 words compassion, wisdom, courage, and the struggle between evil and good will give you the opportunity to learn and develop those 3 words.
Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being Mother, the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. Why is the struggle between evil and good helping you to progress? Why is the conflict between the ego and the true ego, between the true self and the ordinary self, helping you to evolve? My children, you must know that the voice of the ego is the voice of the law of the 6 sense bases. The voice of evil is the voice that urges you to act against your conscience, urges you to fight, hate, be jealous, greedy, angry, urges you to only want your own benefit and happiness even if it causes suffering to others. To be lazy, discouraged, procrastinate, and
Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father, God the human being, Mother the Holy Mother, God the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. What is the voice of true self? The voice of true self is the calling for the children to return to goodness, the calling for the children to live according to conscience, urging the children to love, forgive, and sacrifice for people rather than for themselves, doing what creates joy and happiness for people, being diligent, striving and rising up in adversity. That is the voice of true self. Hear, my children, the struggle between the true self and the mortal self is truly fierce. People in the early stages of true self-development will be easily controlled by the mortal self, which means they will easily follow the laws of the 6 senses and commit many evil deeds, many things against conscience.
Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being. Mother the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, The divine teachings of God. The call of the true self at this stage will resound weakly. Therefore, people will struggle hopelessly with sin and evil. So the mortal self wins and the true self loses. So people easily fall into sin and evil. Falling into evil means creating bad causes. Bad causes mean bad results. Bad results mean bitter and spicy results. If bitter and spicy taste mean throwing out the smell of suffering. Just like that, they keep committing sins. Keep creating sins. Create so much karma. Then they are stuffed with fruit, suffer drown in suffering. Until people are afraid of suffering, do not dare to do anything to create bad karma to avoid tasting suffering anymore. Only then will people begin to listen more to the voice of the true self. Develop the power to use their will to gradually overcome the lowliness and sinfulness, to liberate themselves from the lowliness and sinfulness, and courageously escape from bad karma to enter good karma. Just like that, you will continue to progress according to the development of the true self, until this development is complete. Only then will you be completely liberated. Liberated from the vicious cycle of reincarnation. This is the time when the little soul truly matures. Strong enough to overcome the prison of the five aggregates to merge with the great soul of the universe. The little ego merges with the great ego. The little spiritual light merges with the great spiritual light.
Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being, Mother, the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. My children, each of you must have the opportunity to throw aside the conflict between the true self and the mortal self. The more intense this conflict is, the more valuable lessons you will have. The true self will have the opportunity to learn to control the chaos of the mortal self with great courage. The mortal self will groan painfully to resist the will of the true self when it feels subdued. But why is there this painful groaning and resistance? Because, my children, the true self demands that you be for others, love others. Then you forget your mortal self. Forget yourself. That is forcing you to be patient, to sacrifice, to endure, to sacrifice. You feel deprived, to feel lost. At that time, the mortal self will rise up. It will feel disadvantaged. It will feel controlled by the true self, so it will break out and cause you pain and suffering. Those are the times when you hear yourself feel pain and suffering, when you have to sacrifice, when you have to suffer, when you have to live for others more than for yourself. Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being, Mother, the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God, my children. At that time you heard that painful suffering. But what is this suffering? What is this pain? My children, it is the groaning and struggling of the selfish ego when it finds itself defeated, subdued, and controlled by the will of the true self. My children, this kind of suffering, if you understand it, you will realize that it is not a truly negative suffering, but this kind of suffering is very useful for you. This kind of suffering is the seed of the sublimation of thought, the impetus for the transcendence of the spiritual life. It is the necessary steel that contributes to the training of heroic courage. Therefore, my children, this kind of suffering, the suffering that comes from the sacrifice and loss of the ego, is the seed of liberation and true happiness, my children. My beloved children, the simple and very general concept of the law of evolution of the universe concretely expresses in part the boundless and extremely vivid love of the Holy Father God. Akka, the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor.
Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being, Mother, the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God, in the love that pervades the vast and infinite universe. With all the means of support and reversal for the evolutionary program of all living things. Father's little soul, through many ups and downs, through many bitter sufferings, learning many precious experiences, the day of reunion between father and children, that is, between the little soul and the great soul of the universe, will be so touching, so beautiful, so glorious, and so happy. My beloved children, I divide my soul into spiritual beings, that is, little souls, and divide them with children, send them to learn. I send them or I send you to learn, but in reality, it is I who go to learn, so I have all the spiritual states and emotions that the world has. Whether you are bitter, suffering, or happy, I am bitter, suffering, or happy in the same way. My soul vibrates according to the emotional vibrations of the world. My children, my little souls, my spiritual beings, The sorrow of the world is also the Father's sobbing and shedding tears. Father the Jade Lord the highest Emperor the Holy Father God the human being, Mother the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. Do you know? You are struggling and suffering to be stuffed with karma to fall, to struggle in the stream of tragedy of the world. That is the Father is going through these states of frustration. My dear children, I love you, how can I say enough? The one who has not escaped the veil of ignorance of the ego, is still stirring, and has not yet realized the boundless and passionate love of the Father. You will oppose the Father with many harsh arguments, such as the Father says that he loves you, why there is still punishment? Why there is still stuff with karma, why there is still a human suffering, struggling silently, in a sea of tears, with tragedies full of hatred, tearing, killing full of cruelty, full of injustice. Where is the Father, where is God, aka, the Jade Lord the highest Emperor? Why do you let war roar and threaten everywhere, while the human condition is so small, so lonely, so helpless, so lost? The human condition is always restrained, threatened every minute and every second with the uncertainties of life. Where is God? Why doesn't he see the world is filled with blood and tears? The devil's forces are manipulating the world. Where is God? Where is Father? Is there a Father or not? Is there true love?
Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being Mother, the Holy Mother, God the Holy Mother, earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. Father is here. Father is here. Father is within you. Father is in your hearts. Father is in the heart of the universe. Father is discussing everywhere in space, in time, in all things. My children, Father is here, and he will answer you. Answer those who do not understand him. Answer those who blame him, so that they can deeply understand his boundless love for his beloved children. My children, because I love you, I must punish you. To punish is to make my little soul take responsibility for all the consequences of its wrongdoings. How much punishment is to punish me? I let you suffer because you must suffer, to absorb the meaning of suffering, to be silent in hatred, to tear and kill, to be afraid and bored with the evil hatred that tears and kills, and to develop a heart of love for your fellow human beings, for all living things. My children, because what is the tragedy of war? Where does the tragedy of war come from? Does it sprout from the evil thoughts of humans, that is of you? Does it sprout from the boundless ambitions, from the arrogance, from the jealousy, from the petty selfishness of you? Are those evil thoughts the degenerate causes that have created the poisonous of war, killing each other? My children, blood will be shed, tears will fall, must fall and must fall, until you are afraid and bored with that tragedy, to lay down your weapons and say goodbye to tearing each other apart, to look at each other, to see love for each other, to see the fear of death, to join hands to live together as brotherhood. You say that violence is spreading, manipulating the world, and sowing injustice and resentment.
Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God the human being, Mother the Holy Mother, God the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God, my children. Is it also the cause and effect that arises from the seeds of corruption in your hearts? But only then will there be an opportunity for you to learn. Only then will there be an opportunity for the souls, the little souls of the Father to learn. So those tragedies are very necessary and absolutely necessary, aren't they, my children? Why is that? Because only when there is resentment, only when there is injustice, will people yearn to seek human justice, and then yearn to seek the truth, my children. My dear children. The stream of the endless practice of the Father. How can I think it all? How can I say it all? Only when you reach the peaceful, so you can understand the Father's love, you can feel the presence of boundless love that pervades everywhere in the universe. So I am weary of waiting for the moment when you reach the place of the universe. I am weary of waiting for that beautiful magical sacred moment, the moment when you understand my love, the moment when my little souls break down their lowly shells to blend into the great body to tune together and play a harmonious melody with the great self. My children. Do you hear anything? Listen to my heart throbbing with longing. Do you hear anything? The treble of the great soul is vibrating passionately in the universe, calling out passionately, reminding the little souls to miss their ancient roots. Come back, return to the old homeland. My beloved little souls, tune your strings in harmony with the great self. Well, my beloved choice for my children stops here, but my love is still boundless and flows endlessly in the universe. End of the session on the 26th of June lunar calendar, year of horse. At the Min Phi Confucianism temple with the presence of the Jade Lord, the highest emperor.
Father the Jade Lord, the highest emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being Mother, the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. My children. At this time I should not have appeared, but when I saw the need, I borrowed the earthly clothes to come to you. You should know, having the robe of a religious person but not knowing the Dharma in your heart is not a small thing. Wearing the robe of a religious person means you must act correctly. Many of you have cultivated the robe, but few have cultivated your heart. Therefore, this time I will borrow the robe of a worldly person to transform you. I will live as a worldly person to guide you. I will come to earth to escape the world, to teach my children to be passionate, to blame directly into their inner self, almost to cultivate and repair it so that it is always bright and beautiful. Most of you practice in a formal way, only on the outside. You only care about making the altar outside solemn but forget to take care of the altar inside. Altar outside means superficial practice. Altar inside means compassionate practice. For how long have you let the incense burn out and become cold and smoky? My children, the outside altar is majestic, but you must take care of the altar inside. The altar outside is not as worthy as the altar inside. My children, in all of you there is an incense burner. It means you all have kind hearts. You must take care to keep the candle inside always bright, then you can hope to evolve to the point of liberation. Only then you can hope to have a day of return to the origin. Return to the origin means return to the heaven. Father the Jade Lord, the highest emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being Mother, the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. This scene is a great suffering and a great disaster. My children, I will tell you roughly like that. Whoever knows how to cultivate will suffer less. Whoever is obsessed with life will certainly be severely tested. This scene has 7 out of 10 dead people, my children. Try to practice the true path. Practice mindfulness. Don't think too much about the world. Go crazy with the world and you will be severely tested. This scene is the scene where anyone whose mind is wandering outside will suffer, because the outside world is crazy. The wandering mind is crazy. Then you must endure the chaos. This scene turns inward to find the source of inner peace and find the light of the soul. Take care of the soul to have compassion inside here. Turn back inside here and wipe the incense inside here. Father is inside here. There is no outside. I am everywhere. But the reason I say there is no outside is because if you don't know what is inside here, you cannot know what is outside. Do you understand? Take care of inside. Clean the majestic altar and keep it always bright inside. Then Father is always inside. My child, try to cultivate and improve your conduct using suffering to evolve this screen. Father gives you the soul karma stuffing to awaken you to know that the world is temporary, a sea of suffering, but there is no hope for true and eternal happiness in this world. I use suffering to teach you that. If you are enlightened to this truth, when you are being forced and tested, you will be calmer, have more courage to endure. Father the Jade Lord, the highest emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being Mother, the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth. In the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. Because you must understand that the karma of trial is also due to the sins you have created. Your debts must be paid back fairly. Try to cultivate. This stage is the stage of forcing the soul karma stuffing to move to another stage. So you must firmly believe that you have not paid more than the debt you have borrowed from many lifetimes. So you must be at ease and try to cultivate. God is always here by your side. If you know how to believe in God, then God is with you, always ready to save you from suffering and disaster. If you do not know that God exists, Try to cultivate and accept to pay back the karma of your past lives, and at the same time cultivate virtue and conduct. In this stage, whoever is not righteous is deluded by the world, has too much karma but does not have enough virtue will be tested, and then can be deceased. Eliminate 7 out of 10, my children. Try hard. My children, why does Father come to this world? To save suffering beings, to help you return with dignity. All the means of salvation that the Father has sent down to the world to work, to save the world. But do you know what the means of salvation and saving the world are? They are the sects, branches, and forms of religion all over the world, my children. They all come from the same root, borrowing the means of salvation. The colors of the sects are different so that you can rely on them to practice. Whoever is suitable for which color path can rely on them to practice, to return to heaven. The Father has given many means, many conditions for you to rely on and return to heaven. No religion is the truth, but every religion is only a means of the truth. If you accept the means, consider religions as the truth, then you are wrong. Buddhism says Buddhism is the truth. Confucianism says Confucianism is the truth. Taoism says Taoism is the truth. Christianity is the truth. Taoism said Taoism is the truth. And Taoism was established by the Jade Lord, the highest emperor, that is the truth. Father the Jade Lord, the highest emperor, the Holy Father, God the human being, Mother, the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. For a long time, religions and people have had such mistaken notions, my children. I tell you clearly, all such stubborn and mistaken notions are wrong, my children, because all are not the truth, and religions and sects are only means to save people. The color of truth is the prajna boat for you to borrow to return to heaven, my children. Because of ego, because of jealousy, because of competition between this religion and that religion, other people's religion, our religion. This religion is higher, that religion is lower. So in the end, there is division, then hatred, then enmity, then killing, then fighting over all kinds of things, winning and losing. Then how you can return to heaven, my children? You all stubbornly cling to such foolish notions, then how you can return to heaven? So what do I appear to worry about? To worry about harmony, to return to one source. That is, to return to one root. It is also because I send you to this world because you like the old or the sects. They will also return to one source, my children. Don't compete for gain or loss. Don't think high or low. If you cling like that, your mind will not be in harmony. If it is not in harmony, it will be chaotic. If it is not in harmony, your mind will be scattered, and scattered will lead to slipping. A pure mind will lead to purity and lightness. And only your purity and lightness can come back to heaven, my children. Father the Jade Lord, the highest emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being, Mother the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven. The divine teachings of God. You are scattered, worried about competing, putting your great ego in front of your eyes. You think you are good and best, worry about winning or losing this or that, then divides. Then disharmony, that is what gives birth to all kinds of suffering, my children. What is the current world that is filled with suffering and all kinds of chaos? Because the human mind is disharmonious and chaotic, my children. That is what gives birth to all kinds of misery in the world. You want peace on the outside, but if your mind is in turmoil, how can you be at peace? If the scene outside is peaceful, your mind will be peaceful. You must be peaceful first to create peace later. You are not peaceful, not in harmony, not in agreement. No wonder there is war, death, chaos, my children. When your mind is scattered, meaning that your inner mind wants to win, lose, be inferior, be superior, and fight, then how can you avoid the situation of your mind being really chaotic and wars happening outside? Your mind is still full of selfishness, pettiness, and ambition. So how can you avoid suffering outside? Only ambition, selfishness, pettiness from within can escape to create the situation outside. All of this is completely created by the karma of sentient beings themselves. My children, I tell you that the mass of yin energies is raging, so you suffer, so the world.
Father the Jade Lord, the highest emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being, Mother, the Holy Mother God. The Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. But do you know where the yin energies are? It is because of your thoughts. Thinking a bad thing. Thinking a bad event. These thoughts are emitted and synthesized into yin energies. The more bad thoughts, the bigger yin energies, the bigger it is, the more evil it is, but the more it rages. The more of course you have to suffer from it. All are caused by the karma of sentient beings and then bounce back. So this happening is raging due to the karma of sentient beings. My children, whoever owes this time, I give you the opportunity to repay the karma you have borrowed. So pay it now to lighten it, to move on to another stage with more blessings. This is a cleansing of the soul. My children. So whoever is dirty will naturally be tested. Don't be confused or discriminate. Thinking why you also practice but you are being tested so badly. And the one who doesn't practice, seeing him sitting comfortably and eating first, is not certain, my children. The one who is awakened and knows how to practice and meditate, thanks to this right practice and mindfulness, he will reduce his evil karma, instead of thinking about bad things. He will always remember to recite Buddha's name. At that moment he will borrow a little less. If he borrows less, then he will not have to pay. But because of what he borrowed from many lifetimes, he will have to pay his karma, my children. Do you understand? Therefore, if you still have past karma, you will also suffer. You will have to pay off past debts. Therefore there is a matter of seeing that. A wise person who practices but is tested and is in trouble. But if he still has karma, of course he will be tested, however much debt he still has. God must transfer it to him to pay off the debt. To cleanse him so that he can return to heaven. No one can return to heaven in dirty soul. My children. When he returns to heaven, he must be clean, bright. Light, his worldly nature must be end. My children, if he is even a little bit busy with the world, he will be cleansed. He must pay off the debt to lighten his burden. He must pay off his debt to lighten it, then he can return to heaven, my children.
Father, the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God the human being, Mother, the Holy Mother God the Holy Mother, earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. So what is cultivation and meditation? Cultivation and meditation are to tolerate, to correct, cultivate the good and correct the bad. When you correct the bad, cultivate the good, you will receive blessings to avoid suffering. Because you will not have to pay debts. If you don't borrow, you don't have to pay. But on the contrary, you had to accept to pay off all the debts you created in many previous lives. Therefore, those who cultivate when they see suffering and then become confused, and give up cultivation, that is wrong, because you don't understand. Therefore, this life is tested by your own karma, and many cultivators fail. Many cultivators are not steadfast. Their spirit is tested by suffering and they fail. This time Father loves those failed children very much. They do not understand, so they are not stable, then falls up and down. If that child fails, Father will suffer with that child. Whoever fails, Father will suffer with that child. Father's divine energy is released to come down to earth. Why come down to earth? Not just to enjoy. My children, coming down to earth is to learn, to understand, to gather great moral experiences, and then return to heaven, not to enjoy the world. My children, enjoying life down here forever. Who knows when you will return to heaven? My children. Therefore, Father lets you come down here to learn, to evolve and then return to heaven, because life is always a sea of suffering. Coming down here means suffering, and suffering is the only way to have the opportunity to learn and evolve. So don't expect to come down here to be happy. Life is a sea of suffering. Diving in the earthly world must be suffering. Surely what you think is glorious must have a time of humiliation. Glory is the seed of that humiliation. So in this scene, Father shows very clearly that the more glorious, the more humiliation. Once you are a high-status man, now you are a low-status man to taste that pain. My children.
Father, the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being. Mother, the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother. Earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. So is the glory of the past, the seed of the humiliation of today. The happier you are before, the more miserable you are now. Father shows very clearly that the billionaire has left empty-handed. The rich have now become poor. To show you the crazy and temporary life of this world. My children, nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts there and then gone. Father lets you know that it exists. Then it is not. That there is, and then there is no. That is the immutable and powerless law of this universe. Father tells you that there is not. Then there is no. That is the immutable and powerless law that pervades this universe. You all mistakenly think that everything is fake. So you suffer, thinking that the worldly scene is eternal, coming down here to consolidate your position, money, house, connecting all kinds of karma around you, then thinking that this scene is real, so you embrace it and suffer with it. Then forget the way back to heaven, my children. You are up there in heaven, not down here on earth. You come down here to borrow the worldly scene to learn, and then return to heaven. You come down here to act out the roles of wife, husband, brother, sister, father, mother, child to learn. That's all. Learn to progress, and then return to heaven. So the wife learns her situation. The son learns his circumstances without knowing. So you all absorb those roles, those plays, thinking they are real, and suffering with them. Suffering, but still being infatuated, constantly clinging to those roles and plays, and forgetting the way home in heaven. That is, the house, money, position, life, and the roles that you are playing, you think are real and will last forever. So when they change, you feel extremely miserable, but still try to cling to hold on to those false illusions. Even you yourselves are only temporary. If it is not temporary, why does it not last long? If it is real, it will last forever. Why it have withered and decayed after only 100 years?
Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being, Mother the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven. The divine teachings of God, the body of yours will at best disintegrate after 100 years. The 5 aggregates that you are carrying cannot be kept. How you can keep your house, money, and status. So whoever is foolish enough to deliberately try to keep them will only suffer with them, thinking they are real. Then being afraid of losing this, that, and the other, so in the end you will lose everything. You must know that everything must be lost, nothing exists. They must be lost according to the law of coming and going, meeting and then separating, separating and then reuniting, meeting and then dissolving. That is the law of impermanence of the universe here. My children, when you carry the material body of the 5 aggregates, you cannot escape this law of impermanence. My children, therefore, you want something to last forever. You want your house to last forever. You want this gold and silver to last forever. Father tells you, if from now on you still try to hold on to such foolish concepts, you will have to suffer with them, because you certainly cannot keep them. What comes in must come out. What comes must go. What is must go. What is must be lost. So any child who tries to hold on to them forever will be tested by them and suffer with them. Then you will definitely lose them one day. Therefore, once you understand this, you must have peace of mind. If they come, they will come. If they go, they will go. If you are not sure, do not chase them away. Do not consider that as suffering. Then you will be less tested. Father tells you, if you lose, you will have. If you will lose, it is normal. You only fear that you do not have blessings, my children. In this scene, you are only worried about wearing out your blessings. Do not worry about money, house, fame, power. These things will no longer exist, my children.
Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being, Mother the Holy Mother God. The Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven, the divine teachings of God. This stage will lose 7, leaving only 3. That means out of 10 people, 7 die and 3 survive. Not only in this country, but also in the whole world. Father said that everyone must go through this stage, which Father considers as a test to prove and to know the gold or the brass, to affirm the value of the children, to clearly see who are the filial children, who are the loyal children, to see how loyal you are, whether you are loyal to the end or not, or whether you give up halfway. This part of the path requires loyalty. But when you go to another more difficult path, you give up. That is to confirm the value of gold, meaning of loyal and filial children, to see which children are real gold, which children are mixed with gold and brass, meaning of half of loyalty and filial children, which children have a lot of gold but little brass, meaning of more than half of loyalty and filial children, which children have a lot of brass but little gold, meaning of a little of loyalty and filial children, or which children have a lot of brass, meaning of disloyalty and disobedient children. Thanks to that, Father can clearly confirm the gold or the brass. Father the Jade Lord, the highest Emperor, the Holy Father God, the human being, Mother, the Holy Mother God, the Holy Mother's earth in the 36th heaven. The divine teachings of God. Father lets events change, throws things into chaos, turns the world upside down, and then sees how steadfast your hearts are. Whoever is more steadfast gets more points. Whoever is less steadfast gets less points, or else you fall. Father has already planned it. Father will lose 7 children out of 10 ratio. Father also planned the crazy situations. And Father also planned that there will be certain losses and failures. My children. Therefore, whoever is too addicted to the world slips a lot, gets crazy with the world and loses all souls. This time will be destroyed. I told you this in advance, my children. Therefore, this scene must have suffering. There must be suffering to use to relieve suffering. If you go up the elephant, you must go down the dog, meaning of the ups and downs in life, sometimes at the peak of glory, sometimes falling into poverty and humiliation. If there is glory, there must be humiliation. If there is happiness, there must be suffering. If there is a rule, there must be chaos. When there is chaos, there must be a time of rule. When there is prosperity, there must be a time of misfortune. When there is wealth, there must be a time of decline. But when there is decline, there will come a time of no prosperity.